All right. We are now live. Welcome to Python Hour, everyone. Thank you so much for coming here today. I am Jeff,
And I'm Ariel.
and we are your hosts for today's Python Philippines Python Hour. Okay, guys, before we start, we would like to remind everyone about our code of conduct. We value the participation of each member of the community and want all members to have an enjoyable and fulfilling experience. All members are expected to show respect and courtesy to all members of at all Python Philippines events. If a participants engage in harassing behavior, the organizers may take any actions they deem appropriate, including warning to those offenders or expulsion from the event. If you believe that someone is violating the code of conduct or you have any other concerns, please contact a member of the Python Philippines Code of Conduct Workgroup immediately. They can be reached by emailing board@python.ph.
All right. Before we start, I would like to introduce ourselves first. So we are Python PH. We're a non-stock, non-profit, volunteer-run organization that is dedicated to support and facilitate the growth of the community of Python programmers in the Philippines. Python PH started in 2012 when we've held the first ever Python convention here in the country. Since then, we're able to hold a lot of meetups, trainings, and conventions.
All right. For the current Python Philippines initiatives, we have Work from Home Pythonista, wherein professionals and enthusiasts share and talk about Python. So the next Work from Home Pythonista will be special this October 29 at 5 p.m. It will be recorded on Zoom and will be broadcasted on YouTube. And then for the Python Hour, wherein we share interesting topics around Python, we also have public trainings. It is a low-cost Python trainings covering various topics. We have an upcoming online public training event or session this November. We have November 13, 20, and 27, which is every Sundays. If you're interested, please register in this link below.
Right. So for tonight's event, we have the Python Hour. So this is a 1 hour brown bag session wherein we learn interesting topics around Python. So this October, we've had 3 Python Hour session, and tonight we have the last one. So 2 weeks ago, we have the Let's Create animated memes using Python and MoviePy. Then last week, we had the API development using Plus. Then for tonight, we have the data science using Python.
All right, for this week's Python Hour session, we have data science using Python. Will be presented by Albert or Bash Humol, a senior data scientist. Bash specializes in machine learning, natural language processing, and smart monitoring algorithms. He is a self-proclaimed open sourcer and promotes open source technology and democratize of tech skills. He has over 10 plus years experience with data science, both in academic research and industry applications. He is an advocate for using technology to promote social development and nationalisms, and also teaches data science and its applications, focusing on human-centered design and data ethics. All right, Bash, welcome, and the floor is yours.
All right, thank you so much, Jeff and Ariel. Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. I think in the Philippines, we're still in a pandemic, but hopefully we're used to it and coping well. So again, thanks so much for inviting me to have this Python Hour session with you on data science. I'm going to share my screen and kindly confirm if you're able to see it already.
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, Taglish na lang. Okay lang ba? Do you have some foreign?
Oo naman, Bash.
Okay, Taglish na lang. Baka manuslit tayo para-pares. Gusto na English ko din for today. Again, my name is Bash. I'll talk about this particular topic. How can I land a job in the data industry? So if you're interested to start your career in data in general, in particular data science for this session, I think this would be an interesting topic and conversation for you. So again, at any point of the talk, feel free to raise your hand or type in your questions in the chat or unmute yourselves. This is a live conversation, so please interact if you feel so. Okay, so general topic lang, no, mabilis lang tong di-discuss ko. I wanted to have more time for Q&As later on. I wanted to give a brief background of what's happening globally in the data science landscape. Tapos paano siya nagtatranslate sa Philippines. I will also talk about gaps and opportunities. So if you're a newcomer in the field, ano kayang pwede mong pasukan? Ano yung mga pwede mong i-capitalize on if you're just starting your journey? And I will give some discussions on expectations at work. Ano nga ba yung itsura ng day in a job for a data scientist, like what we do in our daily task. For example, I'll talk about taking smart shortcuts because I think the best way of working right now in tech is working in agile systems and in an agile manner. So I'll talk about prototyping, fail fast, MVPs, and POCs, proof of concepts. No? Paano ba natin mabilis na natetest yung mga solutions na ginagawa natin in a lesser scale so we can magnify them later on if we're satisfied with a lower scale first. I'll talk about how I view the future of tech in terms of my experience, and I'll share with you some of the learning tips and pathways that I've been using to crack crack and hack my way through navigating the industry. Okay, so again, quick background about myself. I'm not really a programmer by practice. Before I was in physics, I learned Python generally through like one subject in college, but mostly I learned it from the community. So I guess this is really like helpful even for me when I was just starting out, learning from colleagues, learning from peers about like latest libraries and tools that are available in solving our use cases and problems. Again, my background was originally in physics, but I realized that I really wanted to use my skills in conjunction with programming languages, computers, and my background in mathematics and statistics to hack my way through problem solving. I'm currently a senior data scientist now with an Amsterdam, Netherlands-based bank called ING. And if you want to connect with me outside of this session, please reach me out through LinkedIn. Okay, so again, this is my name on LinkedIn. If you want to search about me and some of the projects that I will highlight later, you can just visit my GitHub account. Most of the code that I will share, the applications, the code are open source, so you can just like view my GitHub account, follow me if you want, and then like learn from the repositories. I also got from other people, so I think that's the benefit of leveraging open source technology. It's all about community, it's all about learning together. Accessibility is very important, right? So ngayon, I just wanted to entice you guys regarding the global data industry. What is the current landscape? No? Ano yung mga hinahanap ng mga companies? If you look at one of the research na ginawa ni Gartner, we have this IT talent quadrant. Dun sa x-axis natin, you can see the demand, ano yung demand ng industry, tapos ano yung current job openings. So nung tinignan nila, yung mga critical needs pala, tapos pinakamataas na demand, tapos maraming job openings, ang job ay automation. And I think Python is a really good tool for automation, right? If you're familiar with the terms robotic process automation, paano natin ino-automate yung mga mechanical task natin, like for example, processing documents, cron jobs, if familiar kayo sa pag-schedule ng mga pag-email for example, or paggawa ng mga alerts, paglinis ng mga folders and so on. Even for automating visualizations and insight generation from various and multiple data silos. That's what automation and RPA is. If you can also see some of the things here na na-mention kanina, API is also high demand and maraming job openings. Python is also included. So I think this is really the motivation moving forward, that it's a very, very sexy job. There are many openings and there's a demand. So definitely will continue to thrive in the future. But you should also look at other things no, dun sa quadrant na although wala pa siyang demand, although wala pa siyang current job openings, pero nakikita nila na maging relevant siya in the future, kagaya ng blockchain, edge computing, quantum computing, Internet of Things. So makikita natin mamaya dun sa papakita kong hype curve, ano yung mga technologies na pwedeng mag-shake up pa ng mga futures natin kasi the way internet the internet changed things. Now the Web3 is challenging the way that we view technology and the web in general. Interestingly enough din, no, kapag tingnan natin yung budget ng mga companies globally, 100% ng mga survey respondents regarding learning and development, nagfo-focus talaga sila at nag-give ng budget sa analytics and data management. So again, there's really opportunity not only to do your job, but learn on the job because people are putting resources. Now, if you need training to do Azure DevOps, if you need to learn machine learning operationalization, companies now have budget for it. So again, it's very live. You don't have to be an expert because no one is an expert. All of the tools that we're using are really brand new. So it's an exciting time for us to learn these kinds of things because it's very experimental. There's a lot of creativity that needs to be exhausted on all of these tools. If you also look at JetBrains, they conducted a Python developer survey. Saan ba ginagamit si Python? Naku, talagang dami na applications nila ay nasa data analytics talaga. If you know scikit-learn, one of the more popular libraries for introductory machine learning, ay talagang ginagamit siya ngayon ng mga tao na nagre-respond sa survey nila. Web development, of course, Ariel mentioned Flask, which is also used for creating APIs and also like some web dev together with Django even, and other things. No, interestingly, if we reposition Philippines in the landscape globally, Coursera created a survey, Global Skills Report, and if we in particular, zoom in the data science portion, ito yung mga countries na, for example, nasa cutting edge. So, if gusto nyo talagang matuto ng artificial intelligence, driverless car, tama naman, self-driving cars, Web3, NFTs, andito yung sa mga countries na ito, kay Finland, kay Denmark, and I'm working here in the Netherlands. This is where the bulk of my work is. But interestingly, if you look at the emerging countries, no, number 10, Philippines. No, so the global industry is recognizing the talents from the Philippines in terms of our data skills. No, parang they recognize that Filipinos contribute to the field of data science, data engineering, data architecture, and yeah, DevOps in general. We have many talents that are employed in global business conglomerates. So that is really, really exciting, and it makes us hopeful to like place Philippines in the map of the global data scene. Okay, again, if you have any questions at all, feel free to just type it in chat, or they said to reserve it during the Q&A so we can like focus on the slides, but feel free to like just type in your questions so you won't forget. One of the research that we created is to actually compare the data landscape between Philippines, Singapore, and Indonesia. Nung nakita namin, di ko na didiscuss yung method masyado, pero we use natural language processing. Isang model siya na ginagamit to understand text data, no? Para hindi na tayo magpa-process manually, yung computer na binibigyan natin ng capacity to understand language, to understand topics, to understand words mathematically. So we used it, and nakita namin na sa Philippines pala, no, if you are working in the data industry, ito yung mga required skill sets na meron ka. At least you know how to do SQL, Excel, Python, Microsoft Office Stack, and Power BI. Sa Singapore naman, ganun din, Python, SQL, R, tas big data, tsaka tools. So nakita namin na unique dito talaga sa Philippines, yung focus talaga ay business analytics, not yet into like deeper applications of machine learning or AI. Pero sa Singapore, talagang nasa ano na sila, big data space yung ginagamit nila. So yung mga Spark, Hadoop, MapReduce na yung mga applications na ginagamit na because they have many data already that are suitable for those scaled applications. Not unlike Philippines, na if you look at the general trend of like organizations and even the government, we're actually data poor. Medyo mahina pa yung Philippines sa data management, so medyo naglalag behind pa tayo doon. Usually kasi pag gumagawa ka ng data science, diba? First word ka data science, kailangan meron ka munang data to begin with. Yun yung problem currently sa Pilipinas, no? Wala pa tayong masyadong data na malinis, na high quality before we can process it. So we usually say this, garbage in, garbage out, no? Kapag hindi maayos yung data mo, the insights and the solutions that you can ooze out of it, no, wala din. Okay? Sa Indonesia naman, yung pinagkaiba niya sa Indonesia, si Indonesia nakafocus sa data engineering naman. So mas Linux administration yung ginagamit ng RPAs at saka dev work yung focus ng Indonesia. So again, just to set the expectations, yun nga may mga nuances yung mga countries na katabi natin. No, so si Philippines talaga bilang back offices tayo ng mundo, marami tayong BPOs no na gumagamit ng business analytics talaga to like apply statistics, summary statistics, and some like algorithms to understand data, or even do simple visualizations like dashboarding with Power BI and Tableau. So again, we used an AI model to find like the tools na hinahanap ng mga job openings. So we scrape data from Glassdoor, Caliber, JobStreet, and Indeed. And tinignan namin ano nga ba talaga nagko-constitute na isang data practitioner sa mga countries na ito. So what we saw, yun nga, yung mga applications na pinagagamitan nila, karamihan nasa tech. So if you want to start a career, usually yung may mga mature na organization sa Philippines ay nasa tech. Maliban sa tech, nasa placement. Ibig sabihin ng placement, mga recruiters, mga middleman companies. So for example, I'm gonna recruit someone in the Philippines para magtrabaho off-site sa Australia, sa Japan, sa US, or sa Europe. So, ganun, nakukuha yung other job. Other naman, finance. So, sa finance ako nagtatrabaho. So, talagang sa Philippines, may segment din tayo. Kita naman natin na sa mga development ngayon ng mga banks, Union Bank is also ramping up their data science position in the country. What else? Yung mga tools na ginagamit, kagaya nung sinabi ko kanina, if you compare Singapore, Philippines, mas advanced talaga yung ginagamit ng Singaporeans in terms of like using big data, parallel computing, scaled computation kasi mas complex din yung mga problems na sinosolve na nila. Pero in general, the trend is the same actually. Mas nagpo-focus nga lang yung Philippines pa sa Excel, which is ang problem sa Excel. Again, it's a proprietary software. You need to pay to use the software, and then it's limited. If lumampas ka ng 1 million rows, patay. Hindi mo na siya magagawa. But in Python, as long as your RAM can handle it, if your RAM cannot handle them, then use the cloud. You can process those information. Okay? Sa Pilipinas din, as a newcomer, no, yung mga applications natin for data science, talaga nakafocus nga ng analytics. So pag-process ng transactions, for example, in our e-commerce websites, wala pang masyadong malalaking applications maliban sa mga few startups like Kawil AI, Senti AI, mga nag-start sila ng mga applications kagaya ng natural language processing, paggawa ng mga chatbots, computer vision, so paggamit ng satellite images, for example, sa pag-make ng decisions. Usually, mas nakikita pa natin mga applications sa mga hackathons. No? Pero scaled sa mga companies, Thinking Machines is also doing it, of course, because they're one of the pioneers in the industry for data science applications, data applications in general. But ayun nga, parang sa mga companies, nakafocus ang data science sa business intelligence and business analytics. Okay? Another thing, no, parang aside from business analytics, I think there are also startups in the country who recognize the problem that I was saying a while ago na ang Pilipinas data poor. Paano natin siya maging data mature? So ginagawa nila, they try to digitize everything. Ginagawa na tinutulungan yung mga tao, organizations to do database management. No, para kahit paano, we have some starting point to begin with. One applications na ginagamitan ng AI is called optical character recognition. So from analog papers, analog papers, na-digitize natin siya using a camera sensor, for example, coupled with your script using Tesseract. That's the library that we use in Python to do optical character recognition. So, ibig sabihin nun, to like recognize handwritten text, ma-digitize natin siya. Okay? And then, kagaya nung sinabi ko, since in the Philippines, we're doing business intelligence mostly, yung mga ganong applications ay RPA. RPA, Robotic Process Automation. Ibig sabihin, we get various information from your Excel, from your Word, from your Microsoft products, from your email. We capture those information and use an AI algorithm to crunch the numbers and eventually deploy through web applications, through dashboards in Power BI, Tableau, or I hope in the future you also use open source libraries in Python like Dash or Plotly or Bokeh. So I'm gonna discuss some of those tools later, but I think those are what comes to mind, top of my head. When we talk about data science, we also talk about myriad of skill sets. No, data scientist, usually tinatawag namin yung unicorn kasi ang dami lang skill sets na kailangan taglay. Not necessarily master kasi it's impossible to have all of those skills na sobrang galing mo. Pero at least you have the basic understanding of those points. Like for example, science pa rin siya. So in science, ang language ng science ay mathematics at statistics. So kahit paano yung algebra nyo dapat naalala nyo pa kasi yung mga basic algorithms natin, for example, linear regression. So linear regression, dapat na-recall yung equation na y is equal to mx plus b. So yung point slope form. Kasi ginagamit natin yun to forecast linear data. What else? Important yung hacking skills. Hacking skills meaning you can use your computer to solve problems. No? Para na-automate natin na hindi natin siya sinasolve manually. We use our CPUs to do the actual computations in our head. No? Parang ino-offload natin. We're extending our mind to let our computers do it for us. And that's what machines are for. And then of course, when you're doing data science, no, kailangan syempre may alam ka din ng konti dun sa subject expertise or domain kung saan nakalatag yung applications mo. So for example, if I'm doing some data science project in health, at least I understand the context, anong particular health application ito. For example, in finance, I am doing forecasting ng mga financial models. At least I know how money works in terms of banking or like wholesale banking. Ano ibig sabihin ng GDP, macroeconomics, microeconomics. Hindi naman kailangan economist ako, hindi naman kailangan expert ako, but at least I know some surface level inputs or like details about it, or if I don't know a lot of it, at least I have an access to a subject expert. So for example, in my team, we have economists kasi sa pangkaroon ng trabaho, at least I have access to financial experts talaga. What else? Kapag nag-undergo tayo ng data science process, nag-apply pa rin yung ginagamit natin nung high school, elementary natin na scientific method. Ganun pa rin yung fina-follow natin usually kapag nagsimula ka ng mga projects, you start with a problem. So doon siya nagsimula. So ang sinasabi ko nga lagi yung mga tools na inaaral natin, si Python, R, anumang language siya, big data, whatever, secondary lang talaga siya. Ang pinaka-important talaga ma-recognize natin ay data science is just a way for us to solve our problems. So regardless of the tools, later niya isipin dapat una, malinaw yung problem na sinusolve mo, malinaw yung mga hypothesis mo, kung paano masasolve yung problem na yon. Tapos yung experiments na sineset up mo. Dun sa experiments na sineset up mo, dun nakalatag yung methodology and dun lang nakalagay yung mga tools. So I think if you're scared about starting a career in data science, kasi hindi ka marunong mag-code, okay lang yan. Ang important na skill ng mga data scientists ay curious at mapagtanong. Okay? Kasi nga, yun yung nature nila to solve problems. And that's actually the role of data scientists in companies, to solve problems. Kaya nga ano siya, very versatile. So for example, ako nagtrabaho ako sa bank ngayon, but I've also been working in other industries like telecommunications, I work in social impact. So pwede kang dalhin kahit saan because you just solve problems regardless of the tools. No, so wala ka namang kailangan na, for example, if you are already comfortable with open source, di mo na kailangan gumamit ng SAS, ng SPSS because you can already do everything in open source tools like Python. Okay, at yung mga tools na ginagamit ko, I mainly use Python. 90% of the time I use Python for my work, but sometimes when I interface with R is a programming language dedicated for statistical calculations. Ano lang din siya, lahat ng kayang gawin ni R, kayang gawin ni Python, pares lang yan. Pero sometimes yung mga libraries ni R ay really nakapackage talaga for statistical calculation. So mas madali lang siyang tawagin. Kasi kay Python minsan kailangan pang gumamit ng SciPy or like stats.model. So marami ka pang pagdadaanan ng konti, no? Pero kay R, diretso mo na siya magagamit. JavaScript sometimes when I needed to deploy some of my solutions together with Flask kasi kailangan kong gumawa ng web app para maging tangible yung mga models ko kasi sometimes hindi na-appreciate ng stakeholders kapag numbers lang pinapakita mo sa kanila. Gusto nila na may output na tangible para may wow factor kapag pinapresent mo yung mga models mo. Nakita nila, actual kapag tinatype nila yung input sa web app, di ba nakikita nila, ay gumagana yung model kasi na-output niya yung ganitong result. Okay? These are the tools that I use for data visualization, Matplotlib for static visualization, and Seaborn as well. Seaborn is just shortcut for Matplotlib kasi minsan si Matplotlib ang dami mo pang itatype na syntax, but kay Seaborn usually like one-liner lang siya. Bokeh and Plotly and Dash, we use it for dynamic visualization if you want to create dashboards in Python or interactive visualizations. Gusto mong maglagay ng tooltips, ng zoom in, zoom out function, you can do it using those libraries. For mathematics naman, usually ito yung ginagamit. Pandas for cleaning your data, NumPy for some mathematics, SciPy for your like hardcore statistics process like mga t-test, yung mga alam nyo nung college, di ba, mga ANOVA, yung mga ginagamit natin to test out differences in population and so on. For big data, you can use this like tools. PySpark is also with Python. Yung goal lang naman is to reduce complexity of the data para nakukuha mo lang kung ano yung mga tinatanong mo na questions sa kanya. So may mga operations like MapReduce, no, para yun nga, nababawasan yung complexity ng data na gusto mong ma-interpret. For ETLs, this is not like Python related, but Kafka topics, MySQL, dbeaver sometimes, and Pentaho for doing your pipelining. For machine learning, scikit-learn, introductory packages natin for machine learning, yung mga basic models natin like linear regression, logistic regression, decision trees. Prophet naman ginawa ito ni Facebook for forecasting talaga. It's also in Python. It's also available in R and other programming languages, but I think it's optimized for Python. You can use it for forecasting any like time series data that you have. And then for AI, I usually use these things, Space and NLTK for natural language processing, OpenCV, scikit-image for image processing, Clarify for chatbot integrated with some images, PyTorch gawa to ni Facebook for deep learning naman siya. So yung machine learning, ang ginagawa lang talaga niya dalawang bagay. Mag-predict tsaka mag-segment ng data. So for example, gusto kong ma-predict yung future value ng benta ko. Kunyari, I own a business. So you can use deep learning, machine learning for that to do some regression, mag-predict ng future values. Pwede rin naman segmentation. So for example, I wanted to understand my data better. Nyari again, may area ko ng business, gusto kong malaman sino yung mga gold users ko, mga silver users ko, mga bronze users ko. So alam ko kung paano sila ita-target, not necessarily ads, but curate specific products that they will like enjoy. So you can use machine learning for it. So again, dalawa lang machine learning. Forecasting, prediction of future values, so regression yun, and then segmentation. Sometimes no, hindi enough yung mga results na nakuha natin, yung performance ng mga models using scikit-learn. They're good for baseline, but hindi siya enough. Sometimes you are striving for a higher accuracy or other like metrics of model evaluation. You can use deep learning. So deep learning naman ang ginagamit niya, neural networks. So ibang topic naman siya, pero mas ano lang siya, advanced na form ng algorithms, but still under machine learning. Specific type lang siya ng machine learning algorithms using neural networks. No, neural networks naman parang it mimics how our brain and neurons work. So for example, if eto yung finger ko, tapos may hot object ako dito, kapag hinawakan ko yung hot object na yun, paano gumagalaw yung stimuli papunta sa tip ng finger ko hanggang sa brain ko, and how my brain process it. Minimimic lang yun ng neural networks. So, di ba, ang goal talaga natin pag nag-AI tayo is to like put human capacities to computers. So, ganun lang naman siya. Yung computer vision, nilalagyan ko ng mata ng tao yung computer. Kapag natural language processing, binibigyan ko ng boses or like understanding yung computer para ma-understand ng language. So, ganun lang siya. TensorFlow, ginawa to ni Facebook, ni Google. So, ganun lang din siya, pati Keras. So, I usually use Keras and TensorFlow together. Ganun lang din siya. Lahat na nagagawa ni TensorFlow, ni Keras, ni PyTorch. Okay, so but ano lang siya, Google version. Parehas lang naman 'yon. Mas Pythonic lang ng syntax ni PyTorch. And then for deployment, sometimes yun nga, sa Pilipinas alam ko to, people wear multiple hats, no? Abroad, medyo ano kami, parang pampered na ako, may dedicate ako na data engineer. So makulit ko to like, doon pa kayo yung data bago pa i-model. Tapos kapag na-model ko na, tatawagin ko lang yung front end namin. Uy, pa-deploy naman sa web. Pero nung sa Philippines, no, parang you at least need, two sides naman siya, medyo okay kasi matututo ka laterally, no? Yung breadth, no, lawak yung knowledge mo kasi matututo ka ng maraming bagay like database management, deployment, containerization using Docker, and orchestration using K8s or Kubernetes, Flask. I had to learn as well kasi sometimes I needed to create my own APIs when deploying my machine learning models. And then GitHub Actions, yung Azure DevOps, I also had to learn it kasi yun nga, sa Philippines, kailangan marami kang hats na nawe-wear. Then, of course, sometimes yung mga local computers natin hindi na kayang gawin yung mga calculations. So you need help from these companies, Amazon, Google, and Azure. It depends naman kung saan company ka mapupunta, kung ano gagamitin mo. But I'm fortunate that the companies that I've been working, iba-iba yung nagagamit. So I had to learn all of them. But my main stack right now is with Azure. That's what we use in my current engagement. Another thing that I recognize in the industry right now, no, parang mas nagpo-focus na yung mga tao kasi nag-boom na yung data science abroad, di ba? Sabi ko din sa mga cutting edge countries. Ngayon yung naging in sa kanila na term ay machine learning operationalization. So sige, may mga nagmo-model na ng data mo, what's next? So ngayon, ginagawa na namin yung architecture part of it. Paano mo effectively na monitor ang mga experiments mo? Paano mo properly na monitor ang mga results ng mga models mo? And then how do you maintain it? How do you scale it? Paano maging replicable para check ng other teammates mo? So we use MLflow to actually monitor those experiments. And Kedro, I highly recommend Kedro. All of these libraries are open source at pwede siyang gamitin sa Python. Si Kedro, ang ginagamit naman niya, ine-ensure niya na nagpa-follow ka ng best standards sa pag-code. Yan yung problema ko rin kasi I'm not coming from like an IT background originally, so medyo spaghetti code din ako before. Pero when I use Kedro, nare-require ako na gumamit ng PEP8 syntax, for example, kasi hindi niya ina-accept yung syntax kapag hindi mo properly na-integrate dun sa framework niya na fina-follow. So again, MLflow and Kedro are both amazing tools. Yung ibang tools na ginagamit nila, Airflow, but I don't use it now because MLflow and Kedro are suitable already for my applications. Ano bang term nila na ginagamit for Airflow? DAGs, Directed Acyclic Graph. So yung Directed Acyclic Graph, parang ano lang yan, parang flow lang, pipeline kung paano mo pinaprocess yung flow nung steps mo. And then just to mention, what are the expectations at work? I'm also lucky with the company that I am with kasi ang ginagamit namin na ways of working ay agile. I think common naman yun sa mga nagtatrabaho sa tech, no? Parang it's inspired by how people in Apple work, in Netflix, in Spotify work, diba? Parang ang ginagawa nila, may problem sila na sinosolve, kailangan na ma-solve in 2 weeks. So ganun din ginagawa namin. I'm given like a specific chunk of tasks na kailangan kong tapusin in 2 weeks, then I report it. Then that's it. I define my backlogs, yun yung mga ginagamit ko to like monitor ano yung mga kailangan ko pang gawin within that duration. Pero maganda dun, syempre, you have flexibility to like manage your time because hindi nagba-micromanage sa ganitong setup. You really like own your work and take responsibility with your backlogs. Right? Ang maganda pa dito kasi sa structure ng Agile, you work with squads. With squads, parang I don't work with data scientist. I work with a data engineer. Yun nga, parang yung diversity ng team talagang na-focus ka na galingan din hindi lang dun sa craft mo, pati na pag-explain at pag-translate ng ginagawa mo kasi not a lot of them can understand the nitty-gritties of the models that you're creating, but they need it because part ng trabaho nila is to ingest the models that you are creating. So ayun yung synergy of like learning with each other, I think is very, very exciting if you do it in an agile manner. What else? I also got this from Python community learning development plan, a life development plan. I usually do this just to like have a measure. Again, data science is a science, and every science needs to do some sort of measurement para alam mo kung successful ba yung mga ginagawa mo or not. So dapat no, when you're starting a career in data science, at least you know your goals. No, yung stepping stones mo, for example, if you're just starting year 1, ano yung mga kailangan ko matutunan? At least I learned Python, JavaScript, or R, or like these are the portfolio and use cases that I have already explored. Ito na yung mga problems siguro na na-touch ko na, like clustering problem na gawa ko na dapat within 3 years and so on. So at least dapat yung mga knowledge, mga skills and ability nyo na ililista nyo kung anong level para malino kung nag-grow ba kayo sa part na yon. So we call it development plan. And of course, learning is not an individual thing. No, yun yung mapansin natin sa mga communities natin na it's really best to get collective wisdom from other people, meaning learn from the experiences of other people because it's more fun and you learn faster. No, parang sinasabi natin, if you wanna learn fast, do it alone. If you go do it fast, do it alone. If you want to go far, do it with other people. So that's the secret sauce. No, parang wag mong sarihin yung mga problems mo because again, sabi ni Hobbes, sociological imagination. If we learn to expose ourselves and understand people better, I mean, the world will be better in general. Okay, expectations ng salaries, again, yung mga tao parang nagpunta sa data science because malaki daw yung compensation. Tama naman, dun sa job market natin kapag tinignan natin halos ang monthly income ng mga data scientists comparable sa mga doctors and lawyers, even more than in some countries kasi lalo na kapag strong yung tech background ng society, no, talagang andun yung ano nila, honeypot nila. So I think there's opportunity there, but take a pause. Doing data science again is not all about money. You will recognize later on the responsibilities that you have because the decisions that you do with data really implicates a lot of people sometimes. So for example, if you make a model sa isang prison, no, parang it's not all about just making money but really connecting to people because the models that we're doing, the data that we're handling are also people. Human data rin yung pinaprocess natin most of the time. So you need to be very careful and try to be like as human as you can when doing these types of applications. Because again, technology is dialectic. Tayo lang naman yung mga humans na nagpo-complicate on it. But don't just think about money. Again, think about the impact, even social responsibility. I think a lot of organizations are also recognizing this. Like if you go to the website of MongoDB, for example, may mga call sila doon against discrimination, Black Lives Matter. So I think a lot in our generation are also like socially aware and woke. Alright, so expectations naman sa work, no? Hindi na kagaya yung society natin, hindi na kagaya dati na yung mga magulang at lolo natin after mag-aral, nagtrabaho, nag-retire, nag-anak, nagpamilya. It's no longer like that. We are now more capable. We have more power to do most out of our lifetime. So if you want to take a pause, for example, for me, kapag na-realize ko na ay, hindi ko na, sa mga problems na sinusolve ko ngayon, hindi na kaya ng mga knowledge ko, hindi na kaya ng math ko. So I need to go back to university. Or baka kailangan ko mag-sabbatical just to take a pause. Then you can do it because you have the flexibility. Again, you work in an agile manner. No, you can really go to a non-linear process to explore what really matters for you in the long run. Because again, the impact that you're doing is really transcendental. Okay, so again, ang nakita natin dito, our work-life balance and careers are no longer following a linear trend. But what we see in how other people are doing it in these countries, talagang non-linear na. They have more flexibility in how they wanted to structure their life. Okay, so paano nagtatranslate yung sinasabi ko na non-linear matter? Even yung mga companies natin nag-start na mag-evolve na dati, ang relationship natin, employer-employee relationship, ngayon hindi na. No, parang ako, for example, I can be an independent contributor na parang andun lang ako sa team just to like do a very particular task sa kanila. Then sa future, maging ano siya, parang consultants na lang. Hindi na natin nakikita na yung power ay nasa single company lang. So ito yung model na ginagamit natin, no? Traditional employment natin, yung company, no? yung trabaho natin, it defines who we are before. Pero ngayon hindi na, no? Parang yung isang person, yung career mo, it involves multiple companies, not necessarily being loyal, but at least the impact that you give that company is really sizable. And then sa future, nakikita natin na nakafocus na tayo sa ating mga sarili. It's called human-centered design. Na yung mga career natin, yung career natin talagang we know who we are, and then we do multiple projects depending on what impact, what things we wanted to learn, and what we want to contribute in this lifespan. Okay? Just to entice, you know, yung world natin ngayon parang very much alive. I think in fintech, I'm really very fortunate to like have my hands working around cryptocurrency, bitcoins, and even quantum computing. I'm currently enrolled in some subjects on it. So anticipate in the future that these are the things that would really like shake things up in how we do our jobs as future engineers and technologists. And then learning pathways lang siguro, I just wanted to share that nasabi ko na to kanina, don't learn alone. It's faster if you learn from mentors, learn from your peers, and then after you get maturity through the process, and then share, be a mentor yourself. Okay? Ayoko nang gamitin mga terms na ginagamit namin dito, pero kapag nagtuturo kami, usually we use the term pedagogy, way of teaching lang naman yun. Andragogy, so self-directed learning. So huwag na natin i-discuss yun. Pero ang goal lang natin dito is don't learn alone, learn with other people. And then if you already are like a sage, give back. Okay? And then cone of learning, no? How do you learn better? Sabi ni Marx, experience is the best teacher. So, learn by doing. So, 90% na-retain kapag ginagawa mo talaga yung actual thing. So, wag lang ma-content sa pag-watch ng YouTube. Actually, sabayan nyo siya na mag-code. Kung nanood kayo ng mga Indian tutorials, hopefully dumami rin yung mga Filipino YouTubers natin on doing tech, support local. And then, I don't want to discuss this anymore, but some of the like projects that I was building before, mga facial recognition algorithms, same algorithms you can apply to face mask detection. I also do like object detection and augmented reality. All of these are done in Python, by the way. So yeah, fun. What else? But again, kagaya ni sinasabi ko, technology is dialectic. It can be used for good, it can be used for bad. No, kaya nasa responsibility natin yan. Also, although ang dami nating good applications with Python, with the technology, with programming, no, other people can also use it for like deepfakes, disinformation na very apparent sa Philippines, sadly. But again, we have responsibility to make sure that we are using technology with high moral ascendancy, at least na but you don't actually dictate it alone. You talk with communities to make sure that your values are aligned with like a better future. Yeah, but also don't forget to have fun while doing all of this crazy and like technical stuff. Do whatever you want with these types of like techniques. I'm a fan of Harry Potter, so I tried replicating the invisibility cloak using computer vision with YOLO. That's the library that I used for it. It's not, and then again, I just would recommend Omdena. Omdena is a free platform if you want to learn data science on ground. So ang ginagawa nila, they solve like real world problems from startups na walang masyadong budget. You get to collaborate with many people. You get to collaborate with many people around the globe one sec. Collaborate with many people around the globe to solve real-world problems like understanding poverty in Africa, understanding global warming in whatever part of the world. So it's also like a very interesting engagement that you can do. 8 weeks lang yung projects nila, and then you get to learn with many cultures. Okay. And then don't forget to build your portfolio. Again, that's the best way to document stuff, not only for other people, but for yourself as well. Kasi lahat ng mga skills natin, if you don't use it, you lose it. So again, don't forget to document everything. It's also helpful if you apply for a job that you can show some of the use cases and things that you've done. So it would be very, very, very helpful to have this in your arsenal. All right, I think that's it for my talk. I'm sorry if I went over time, but I wanted to like give more time for Q&A. So yeah, there you go. Happy to start the conversation with you guys if you have any questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bash. That was actually a very interesting topics that you covered, and including the informative slides.
Yeah, now we move to the Q&A session of this program. So before that, we also have a feedback form. So if you have any suggestions or anything that you think that we can improve on, so feel free to fill out that form. So now it's time for the Q&A.
Yeah. So, Leia asked, do you have tutorials po dun sa mga pinakita nyo, like yung deepfakes, etc.?
I think it's in my GitHub, but I don't have tutorials. I don't have bandwidth pa to create. But I'll try to make one. I'm planning to actually, but yeah, I think it's a Christmas break. That's my like bucket list to like dedicate some time to like do some tutorials on computer vision as well. But I think just search computer vision no, not computer vision, object detection in Python, deepfakes in Python. There's so many repositories in GitHub that you can export. Type nyo lang sa GitHub. Marami namang open source code doon. Just try it on your own. Learn it muna. And then if hindi na, then you can reach out to me if you have questions.
Nice. And then Alfonso Gabriel asked, hi Albert, as a data scientist, do you recommend data science over data engineering?
Oh, it depends. I think those are like apples and oranges. It's really like hard to compare. It depends on what you really wanted to do. Depende kasi ako nung una parang I gusto ko muna mag-data engineer. So parang natuto muna talaga ako ng like programming, ETLs, transforming data, loading data, and so on. Kasi yun nga, sa Pilipinas, mahirap na mag-model ka agad-agad, mag-work with machine learning kung hindi pa malinaw yung pipeline. Siyempre bias ko data science kasi andun yung main job ko. But I don't undervalue the work that data engineers do. We always like work hand in hand. But ultimately it depends on your personal interest as well. If you have some knack and math head, of course, I would suggest going to like data science if you love solving problems. But if you are enjoying architecture in general, you want to like create pipelines, CI/CD even, I think data engineering would be like a good like role for you. But it depends on what you wanted to learn at the moment.
Nice. Ito magandang question ni Johan. It is necessary po ba to be good in math to become a data scientist?
It is necessary to be good in math in our world today, honestly. Kasi, I mean, yun yung problem sa Philippines eh. I think wala tayong culture ng science, na wala tayong Albert Einstein, wala tayong Newton. Pero if you look at the curriculum overseas, bakit sila successful? Kasi may appreciation nila sa science and mathematics. Sometimes takot lang tayo sa mathematics kasi nga, yun nga, parang yung education system natin sa Pilipinas failed us. So I think, but don't stop learning. I think it's just grit. I really like value objective way of viewing the world. So we can do it by using numbers. Actually can give lights. Pero syempre hindi lang yun yung dapat natin trust. Dapat meron din tayong intuition. Dapat meron din tayong human aspect. Kasi a lot of the times, although we see the numbers, may humans din siya na counterpart. Pero yun nga, parang being good in math is also relative. Baka naman sabihin mo yung mga mathematics na, ay, sobrang higher level calculus. It's not naman necessary. Parang at least the basic and core understanding of how like algebra is being done. If you go to like machine learning or like deep learning, at least derivatives, at least meron ka partial derivatives, you know how to navigate yourself across those math. Pag nagdi-deep learning ka, tapos computer vision, at least matrix. Dapat medyo familiar ka sa mga matrix kasi computer vision uses pixels, di ba? Pixels ng mga images. And pixels ng images, kapag nagagawa ka ng operation, you can represent them as matrix, mga numbers lang yan, mga vectors lang ng mga numbers. Then if you multiply them, if you convolve them, then you use that kind of mathematics. Not necessarily really good in math, but basic understanding of basic concepts is very, very important. We cannot undermine it. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we also have a question from Steven here. May relationship po ba ang data science with cybersecurity? Like, is it recognizable na security isn't the best in the Philippines, and how does that affect the data science?
Relationship, actually lahat ng bagay naman pwede mo ma-relate kay data science, diba? Kasi lahat ng may data pwede mo applyan ng data science. So cyber security is also the same thing, right? Ano ba yung mga steps na ginagawa natin sa cyber security? Kunyari, penetration tester ka. Kunyari, certified ethical hacker ka. Sino naman yung process, diba? Parang scientific inquiry pa rin yung ginagamit, scientific method, yung reconnaissance, those kinds of terms and tools that use in cybersecurity. Syempre may may iba lang na focus si data science kasi ang ginagamit, actually, si cybersecurity expert, pwede niyang gamitin yung mga tools sa data science para ma-understand better yung mga inputs niya para ma-solve yung problems. Again, data science is just a tool. It's not really like a discipline. Kung nga di ko sinasabi talaga na parang data science ako, parang data practitioner kasi ginagamit ko si data science as a tool to solve my problems. Security in the Philippines is not the best because again, maraming breaches and incidents sa Pilipinas kaya ng pag-leak ng passports natin, passport data natin. And recently, the President signed the SIM card registration bill, which is alarming, honestly, from a security perspective. Even the national ID, I'm very vocal about it. Kasi, di ba, pag sinecentralize mo yung data mo na hindi malakas yung capacity mo to privacy and security, di kapag nagkaroon ng data breach, nakuha na ng hacker buong data mo, hindi na siya parang distributed. Yeah, frustrations, pero syempre hindi naman natin siya parang nilalabanan na wala lang. We also use data to like give strong arguments. Like for example, SIM card registration bill. We should learn from the lessons of the past and other countries. Ano yung mga naging problems nila sa surveillance capitalism, sa state surveillance. So we need to be careful with how these things will affect us. So again, data science is not necessarily the main tool for it, the main like discipline that you should consider when doing cybersecurity, but it's just a tool for cybersecurity experts to understand their problems better.
Rich ask, ano po bang pwedeng simula para pag-aralan ng DevOps?
DevOps, again, it's highly dependent on your like system. GitHub, no, pagpunta ka sa GitHub Actions, GitHub DevOps in GitHub, may mga tutorials sila na parang susundan mo lang, interactive din kung paano matuto ng DevOps. But DevOps usually deals with continuous integration, continuous deployment. So talagang marami kang systems na kailangan matutunan. I would suggest reading about like databases, reading about pipelines, reading about jobs, cron jobs, even if you really want to dig. Again, I'm not a DevOps expert. I just know the top level thing kung paano siya ginagawa. But I would suggest like asking first, no, kung nasa company ka, di tanungin mo ano yung mga ginagamit na tools sa company nyo. Kung wala naman, do your market research. Sa susunod ka na company kung papasukan, ano kayang tools na ginagamit nila. Because you can do DevOps in Azure, you can do DevOps in GitHub, in Google, in Azure, many different pipelines. But I think very similar sa kanilang mga concepts na sinabi natin kanina, like containerization, di ba? Kapag nagko-code tayo sa Python, hindi naman pwedeng lahat ng libraries natin naka-install lang sa local machine natin, kailangan nilalagay natin siya sa mga images and virtual environments para yun, nako-contain natin yung mga versions, version control and stuff like that. But I suggest do your research first. Si GitHub, I would really recommend kasi maganda yung interactive tutorials nila on doing CI/CD and DevOps in GitHub. And I think scalable din siya kasi I think Microsoft bought GitHub. So ayun din, parang two birds in one stone din siya kasi parang very similar naman yung Azure DevOps sa GitHub DevOps.
Actually, medyo balawak yung topic ng DevOps and then separate siya sa data science. But yeah. So, ito si Rick. Hi Bash, you said your presentation that you work on web scraping. Is it legal po ba to especially if may PII na involved?
Okay, I just finished a project with Office of the President, nung Duterte pa, with EFOI. Yun yung project na ginawa namin, data anonymization using AI. So parang lahat ng mga request, paano ba namin i-retract yung information ng mga tao, kagaya ng name, birthday, mga cards nila, nilalagay kasi nila doon sa EFOI. I do web scraping a lot using Selenium or Beautiful Soup. Both of them are Python libraries. In terms of legality in the Philippines, again, hindi pa mature yung law natin in terms of privacy and security. So hindi malinaw, but again, always read the fine print ng mga websites na ni-scrape nyo kung inaalaw ba nila. So you can check, for example, sa Facebook, pag tinype nyo, web scraping in Facebook, naglabas si last year lang yun, naglabas si Facebook ng rules nila kapag nagwe-web scrape. Ano yung mga bagay na pwedeng scrape na hindi pala siya pwedeng scrape as is, no? Parang kailangan mo gumamit ng Graph API, Facebook Graph API to get like data from Facebook if you wanted to use it for marketplace or for business related exploration and so on. But again, since wala pang masyadong law sa Pilipinas, I think the safest way is to follow the the stringent rule, GDPR. So consult GDPR, what's the best way of like doing it. But since you mentioned personally identifiable information, I strongly suggest not to do it kapag may PII, because it undermine the privacy of a person. And I'm really advocating for that. Ginagawa ko nga sa pag gagawa ng machine learning algorithms, pag nakita ko ng address, ng zip code, hindi ko na siya sinasama kasi minimal lang din ang effect niya sa model eh. Tapos baka maka-apekto pa dun sa, yun nga, ma-identify natin. So anything that you can trace back to the individual, don't process it. So ganun yung rule ko dyan eh. So you can like follow that rule if you think wala namang repercussions, but I think that's the safest way. Again, follow GDPR, yung rule nila sa Europe kung paano yung privacy and security fina-follow in terms of like ensuring that you're not trespassing against any rules and laws.
Nice. We still have 4 questions sa Zoom, pero maybe we can check as well dun sa YouTube Live natin. I think we have 5 questions sa YouTube Live.
Yeah, we have some. So, Mr. Valdez on YouTube asks, what steps does the Philippines need to take to get a quality source of data?
Steps. Oh, nako, sakto-sakto. Kasi I'm also collaborating. Pwede ba mag-plug? Kasi kailangan namin ng mga engineers with the Development Academy of the Philippines. We're doing some projects on open data. So yun yung ginagawa, parang we're looking at opportunities for us to properly capture data down to the LGU level, barangay level, no? Para exciting yung mga projects na makuha natin. So I think ang pinaka-important talaga education. So data literacy talagang kailangan ma-appreciate natin culturally as a people, no? Ano yung kahalagahan ng data? Kasi kunyari pag nagbagyo sa Pilipinas, di ba, wala tayong masyadong information kung saan ang mga best sites for evacuation centers, relief operations. We don't have that data to begin with. So I think data literacy ng mga nasa natin, grassroots level organizations ay very important. Kasi kapag nagsimula na, okay, aware sila sa importance ng data, then we can enable them and empower with the tools that we're using. So again, if you're interested in doing some projects, in particular, we're looking for data engineers to develop the open data portal for the government. Please do reach out. We're like hiring for some projects for it. So again, thanks so much for the question, Shoni.
So another question from Mr. Valdez from YouTube. So he asks, are there exercises to get good with data analysis?
Good. Ang ganda ng mga libraries na pinapublish recently sa Python. Like one example is Pandas Profiling. Search Pandas-profiling. Ginagawa na niya lahat. Kaya nga ako minsan kinakabahan din ako na parang mawala ng trabaho kasi sobrang galing ng mga ginagawa ng mga algorithm at libraries. Parang papasok mo lang dun yung Excel file mo or CSV. I-automate na nila lahat ng data analytics, lahat ng missing data, na gagawin mo sa data. Nagbibigay na sila ng recommendation. Pag nagawa mo yung mga recommendation na yun, magbibigay na siya ng insights top level. Tapos deep dive mo lang kapag may kailangan kang gawin. But in terms of like analytics, I think again, experience is the best teacher. So try to like dirty your hands across many problems that you can dirty your hands to, and of course like consult with other people. Kasi sometimes kapag nag-expert tayo, we're not the expert on the area. Kunyari ako finance, hindi naman ako talaga nag-aral ng econ. But at least I have like people that I can ask, mentors that I can go to ask, okay, are these things like valid? Is my analysis like really true in terms of how I understand it right now? So again, you can like explore learning more from many use cases that you want, learning from actual experience, and then of course exploring what the community is also already building. Kasi ang dami lang ginagawang bagong tools eh. So ako rin minsan, nahirapan mag-keep up pero napapadali lang kasi we have these types of communities na nagdi-discuss ng mga ganong bagong tools natin sa industry.
All right. So another question from YouTube by Sorex. So regarding the garbage in and garbage out of data, are there bodies regulating the standardization of data? So for example, the industry that is working in the mortgage, there's a body that regulates the standards of data.
Exactly, that's very interesting. Actually, yun yung kulang sa Pilipinas eh. Usually, si Gartner, again, one of the best research bodies na talaga nagfo-focus sa mga ganyang standards, they tell us the story of two things. Data strategy. So ano ba talaga yung data na mahalaga sa mga companies? So dapat meron tayong mga data strategy steward sa mga companies natin. Sila nag-ensure nung QA ng data natin, ano ba talaga yung data na kinokollect natin, relevant to our use cases. And then the other one is the data governance framework. Yung data governance framework, parang 5 pillars siya. No, search lang sa Google, data governance framework, 5 pillars. So pag sinearch siya, parang didikta niya doon sa pillars na ano yung mga kailangan na ma-ensure na para ma-make sure natin na okay, we are following the best standards in ensuring quality of data kasi nga garbage in, garbage out eh. So yun yung mahalaga doon, parang mapasa mo muna yung mga pillars na yun bago ma-ensure na okay, green light, okay yung quality ng data, yung veracity niya, ibig sabihin yung ethics niya, yung quality niya ay talagang on par. Okay.
All right. So another question from YouTube by Mr. Bales. So, do you need a powerful laptop to do data science?
It depends on the problem that you're solving. Sometimes, if the complexity of the problem kailangan ng GPU, nako, parallel computing na yung kailangan mong gawin. Pero rarely, I just remember doing that sa research pa, sa academics nung nasa pa ako research work. But for industry applications, kasi we only do, I only do prototyping and POC. So talagang maliit lang muna chunks ng data yung ginagamit ko to just test out the models if they're working. Tsaka ko na siya ni-scale, no, kapag naka-encounter na ako na mabagal na masyado yung system, kapag na-compute ko na yung time complexity niya tsaka space complexity niya na nako, nag-scale bigla na hindi na linear. So I need to anticipate na okay, ganito na yung anticipation ko sa complexity nung computing ko, and yung mga sinabi ko, time complexity, space complexity, and so on. Dun ko na anticipate na kailangan ko ng So usually ko naman parang I don't need to buy servers because they're expensive. I just like leverage on cloud computing. So I provision resource or instances from AWS, for example, just to buy like per hour ng compute resource nila and so on. But rarely, usually sa finance, yung even mga models nga namin doon parang mabilis lang nag-run on my local machine eh. So hindi naman kailangan lalo na kapag introductory like machine learning lang. Usually deep learning medyo matagal ng konti, pero sa local machine ko parang at most 30 minutes na yung mga matatagal na models na mag-run, pero it's fine. You can just like grab coffee or like space out, walk around while waiting for your batch runs to finish when doing deep learning. Pero yun nga, yung ganun mga models usually sa deep learning talaga yung nagtitake ng a lot of time, that sometimes you have to like parallelize everything to make your compute more efficient.
All right. So I think this is the last question from YouTube. So Herald asked, any recommendations of community for Python taking NLP, ML, and etc.?
Well, Python, Philippines. I think we have we have been inviting many industry experts already sa mga work from home natin. I also tune in. We've been inviting like data scientists like working overseas, sharing their knowledge and even the ways of work that they do on a daily basis, yung mga tools na ginagamit nila. Sa Pilipinas, we have like Facebook groups, no, yung Data Science Philippines, Data Science Manila. You can ask questions there. I think people are active there, like posting job opportunities as well, and then new tools na ginagamit sa industry. But then again, you can always like reach out to like mentors and even start your own. I think we have hindi pa ganun ka-mature yung community natin for like machine learning and AI in the Philippines. But I think before the pandemic, maraming meetups before. I was active doing like meetups in Makati and Ortigas before. But hopefully, no, bumalik yung sigla natin for doing community meetups when things get better. Sana bumaba yung inflation, sana umayos yung conditions natin. But yeah, join those groups first, and if you don't want to have that like bigger community agad, you can just reach out to friends. Hey friends, I want to study this book. Pwede bang learn tayo together? You can also do that approach.
Yep. Well, thank you sa YouTube questions. Meron pa tayong 4 na questions sa Zoom. So Junel asked, how to know whether your model is accurate enough and how to properly clean data?
For the model enough question, ako technical na yung mga question. Hindi mo masasabi na better enough yung model kapag wala kang benchmark. Benchmarking muna, kuha ka ng baseline models. Hanap ka ng research publication, same problem, ano yung accuracy nila. Kung hindi satisfied, syempre ang makapagsabi lang naman na satisfiable or like satisfactory yung model performance, may business, yung stakeholder mo, okay na po ba sa inyo 80% o gawin ko pa pang 98%? Kapag umagri na ng 80%, di, tapos trabaho mo, so ganun lang naman siya. So again, baseline with research and journals, publications, and then kapag nakuha mo na siya as baseline, perform multiple models para alam yung performance ng maraming experiments and iterations, and then ask the business, ano ba yung kailangan nyo para profitable? Ganun lang naman siya.
Okay. And then Alfonso Gabriel asked, do you have a list of top OCR applications for object character recognition projects? Or does it vary on a type of document that you will use?
It varies. We've been using we've been experimenting a lot of things in the bank, because we're also like doing OCR for financial statements. But again, it's very difficult to say because it's different per application. But I do recommend yung Tesseract, PyTesseract in Python to begin with. Marami siyang kalaban na ano din Python libraries, but start with it because I think it's the least learning curve to learn.
Nice. Ito medyo technical din yung ask ni Merge Lara. So, meron daw silang automation ng process of getting information from a PDF file going to an Excel file, and then extract yung text, and in photos being able to interpret inputs. Ano daw yung mga tools na you will recommend on doing that?
Magkano yung fee?
May may solution. May solution architect na rin para nangyari.
I don't have any idea because I don't know the context. Maybe if you can give me like context about the actual nuances of your data, then I can recommend better. But it's dangerous for me to like, give advice na ill-informed. So I need to like get more information. Again, if you want, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn for like those detailed questions.
Okay. So last two questions. Advice for sabi ni Johan, advice for someone who wants to start data science, or yeah.
It depends on what your background is. If you are already from like engineering or natural science background, then it's easier, right? Because you already have a knack of like being curious and like solving problems. So just learn from working. Do some internship, watch YouTube videos just to make sure that the baseline skill sets are there. Usually, yung lacking naman sa mga tao, SQL. So, mga dev-related things naman yung lacking. Pero problem solving itself should not be a problem. Learn the tools na. So, parang research on what are the kunyari, look at job openings, ano yung mga requirements nila na hinihingi nila doon sa mga job posts nila, and then align, okay, can I do this? Do I have the skill sets already? What do I need to do to learn these things? Do I need to like enroll in MOOCs? Do I need to enroll myself in boot camps if those are effective for me? So yung mga kailangan mo isipin.
Nice. So ang daming interested sa topic sa data science, no? Last question, Bash. Sabi ni Ray, Ray asked, how is the quality of work life as a data scientist?
Okay naman, kasi I get to like live my life because again, you get to control a lot of the things that you do. Usually, if you solve your problems faster than your like sprint, then you have a lot of time to like learn. That's what I value with my work because I have a lot of freedom to explore and be creative. Although data science is a science, it's also an art. Lahat ng mga practitioners natin pare-pares lang tayo ng algorithms na ginagamit. So labanan lang talaga natin dito ay creativity natin. So I get to enjoy. I don't feel that I have a work. I feel like I have a hobby and that's important. No, parang ikigai. This is ikigai for me. So I think if this is also for you, I think yun lang, parang discover what your passion really is. If it keeps you like motivated and excited, then go for it.
All right. Thank you so much for your questions, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Bash. The Q&A session has been so insightful. All right, so I think that's it. So, guys, again, we'd like to remind you for our upcoming events from Python page. So, for Work from Home Pythonista, we have our 19th episode this October 29 at 5 p.m. on our YouTube channel. Then for public trainings, so if you're a beginner and interested to learn about Python, so we have an upcoming online public training for beginners this November 13, 20, and 27. So if you're interested, you may sign up using this link or scan the QR code. So again, yeah, that's it. That's for the Python hours. So thank you and see you in our next and future session. We'll keep you posted if you have one. So if you've enjoyed this, please fill out the feedback form. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you so much, Bash,